basics of economy. It's supposed to be about the living standards of the people, right?
Right.
You can talk about monetary policy, fiscal policy, GDP, inflation. Economists are good with data. They throw everything at you. At some point, you get completely confused. But the one thing you can't get confused about is your own reality, your economy, personal economy.
Right.
Can anybody bamboozle you with figures to determine and explain your personal economy to you? So somebody will suddenly wake up today and tell you your own
reality.
Your own reality is different from what you know. Somebody with, that you have your own personal inflation that you can calculate.
Right, of course.
without any economist telling you, you can decide. Your income level is determined. You already know what you earn, and you know what you were earning before, and what your reality is now.
Right.
Not because you have been extravagant or you have not been managing your resources well. It's just because, again, things have just become too expensive, and life has become too difficult for you to bear. So I really don't want to go into the mumbo jumbo or the details of the reality is that as it stands, the Tinubu government does not have a complete handle on the economy. Look at, for example, the contradictions that we had just at the close of last year, 2025. The president had informed us that, look, revenue targets have been met. In fact, the picture was that, look, if we can do this fantastically well, meeting up our revenue targets as far back as August for non-oil sector, the impression is to say, well, the oil sector is in superb shape. Only for the Minister of Finance to eventually come and tell us that
we are running behind.
so,
everything is not
well. And you can see that it is one contradiction that has unsettled the government. I assume that the Minister of Finance was not following the script, properly. That kind of information should not have come out. We are in the era where the government wants to tell you everything is fine, everything is okay. Inflation is 14%. But they are already telling us that for this year they will be pushing that inflation to almost single digit. That would be miraculous, don't you think? But again, the figures can look good. The question is, the living standards of the people, are they getting better? And I think nobody can tell this government the truth until they decide to tell themselves the truth.
Right.
Because once you say this thing, they say you are political. You are just unnecessarily critical. But the reality of the people is the reality of the people. You can rebase figures, rebase data. You can't rebase the reality of the people. You can put propaganda out to make the government look good. Or if propaganda does not automatically change the reality of the people. They know where the shoe pinches.
Right.
And
that basically aggravates the issue of trust, especially the trust deficit we have in the several policies, several assurances we've been getting. 2026 is going to be better. The next year is going to be this, is going to be that. As a matter of fact, give it. You need to give us more time. We cannot achieve everything that we have promised to achieve.
My advice to Nigerians remains the same: go and take care of yourself. I know how difficult it is for Nigerians to really take care of themselves, because in reality, at the point of voting for people, they were submitting their mandate to the people to make life better for them. Right. And now that seems not, that is not happening, they then have to now take the bull by the horns by saying, look, let's begin to adjust. Let's face our reality. And taking care of yourself means that, look, you have to be very frugal with your spending. This is not the time to be unnecessarily extravagant. You also have to begin to cut your coats according to your cloth. You understand what I'm saying now?
Right.
I've told a few friends, if your children are going to schools that you can no longer afford their school fees, there's nothing wrong, Lady Mo, in adjusting to a school that you can pay easily without having to go borrow, beg, or steal. Right? If you live in an accommodation, an apartment, that has become too expensive for you to pay the rent, you may begin to look at other alternative outskirts locations that are cheaper and more affordable for them to pay the rent. And they just, when they come to work, they stay and only go back during weekends. So you have families who are already adjusting to the reality of the moment.
Right.
So when I say take care of yourself, it is for you to get a bit more realistic, get more methodical and more pragmatic about how to take care of yourself at these times where, things may not shape up as we expect, especially because we have a government that is still refusing to accept the reality of the people.
Wow.
They can hold on to your assurance. So if you want to be delusional and you want to continue to deceive yourself, the assurances are not new. You know that this is not the first time we hear that. We had assurances for 8 years of Buhari. Even Buhari, Jonathan and 6 years. From 1999, we've been having assurances. The only assurance that I know that somebody gave and fulfilled is the one Davido gave to Chioma. The political assurances have amounted to nothing.
Let's see then.
Everything looks good now. It's fulfilled all the assurance.
Talk about how far the presidency have been able to go about the budget and the policies that they've promised so far, especially with the 4 years promise. Away from that, this terrorism, a terrorist attack especially after the US airstrike, right? But then, still on a daily basis, we up the federal government's responsibility to also make sure that they ride on this move and make sure that we have at least a drastic drop in this. But the Punch newspaper is reporting this morning in Niger State that residents of several communities in Agwara and Borgu local government areas of Niger State are actually now fleeing their homes amid the fears of renewed attacks after terrorists had reportedly issued fresh threats following the last. I even mentioned that these assailants had even warned that they will continue the killings, triggering panic, displacing, people across border communities linking Agwara, Borgu, and Kebbi State. And residents had alleged that soldiers deployed to the affected areas withdrew shortly after their arrival. Area and Tungan Salama near Papiri in Borgu local government area said that they had received credible information that the terrorists were planning to strike again. Side forward, even according to a resident who spoke on condition of anonymity, had appealed to the federal and state government to urgently deploy a strong military presence to the area. That without security, I don't know. I really do not even know what to ask anymore.
Well, it's just what it is. It's just again for people to understand why some of us are a bit pessimistic about some of these assurances and promises. Because again, when it comes to the issue of insecurity, you also have all of these promises. To protect the people who are sure that these things will not repeat itself again. Now, the report is that after over 40 persons were killed just over the weekend by, according to the government, fleeing bandits and terrorists from these terrorists that, look, we're going to be coming after you again. We're going to be coming to kill you. And that different communities are saying that, look, the reality is that there are really no real protections for them. That even when soldiers are deployed, after a few hours, they leave. There's really no sustainable effort, no visible effort, no consistent effort, what you can call a more deliberate effort to protect these communities. If you understand what I'm saying.
Right.
So you now have a situation where, these bandits reign free with so much impunity, to the point where they even now inform the communities before they attack them. That's what the story is saying.
Yes.
Lady Mo.
Yes, threats.
And if it now gets to the point where, after all said and done, afterwards, the government has said the assurances they're giving, we have bandits who are still reigning free, attacking communities, then I really don't know. Because it's one thing for the government to continue to assure Nigerians that they're on top of the situation. But the reality shows a different thing. So how do you explain that the government is on top of the situation when it comes to protecting the lives and properties of the people, and you have these kinds of situations? In Niger State, in Kwara, in Kwara State, there are still killings and abductions as we speak. So I don't know. I don't know what more we can do. You sit back and you are thinking, should we just call for help? Has this gone beyond the political will to do the right thing? Is it a situation where our military does not really have what it takes? You know that anytime we talk about internal security, we don't even call the police again. They are not. They are not. So we again, the people who are not supposed to be responsible for internal security,
right?
Because again, it now looks as if, when it comes to matters like this, I'd love to ask the government what exactly is the plan to solve this problem? Because it's not just after the killing over the weekend. The statement from the government, the same statement. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has ordered Nigerian security military to go after the killers and bring them to justice. It's the same thing. In fact, it now looks as if the statement, they just edit it and just put it out when things like this happen. Which is almost insane. That we now live in a country, in one of the communities, if you read the story very well, was to go into, these bandits went into the community. They now took over about 40 men, tied their hands behind their back, and executed them en masse. Communities that used to run markets can no longer run their markets. In fact, one of the communities in that Niger environment used to be very popular for a big Wednesday market. Every Wednesday they run a very big market, that is noted for that market, in the north central part of the country. But since this while started, they can't even run the market again. People are leaving their communities. In fact, one of the Catholic bishops that spoke said that, look, a lot of them are also relocating from some of these communities.
Yeah.
I know the danger of us not quickly finding a way to solve this problem is that these guys are going to get to a point where, it's become very lucrative. They abduct people, they make easy money, but they'll get to a point where they'll now begin to hold down territories, will now take it further to begin to want to control the resources of those territories. At some point, they begin to declare a nation within a nation. If we are not careful. Because as it stands, these guys reign free. After the US bombing, we said it. What are we doing on our own side? What are we doing on our own side? What is the level of mop-up we have? How are we working very hard to clean the mess? Because the US strikes cannot automatically solve the problem. I don't think strikes have solved the problem of insurgency, banditry, and terrorism anywhere in the world, unless we want to tell the US to have boots on the ground, which I think they will not want to do because of their experiences in the Middle East. They've done it in Iraq, they've done it in Afghanistan, and they came back with a bloody nose. They waste a lot of resources, lose men, and at the end of the day, they are not really able to achieve anything tangible. So the best they will do, that you will see Donald Trump continue to do, is this idea of just striking and maybe, doing those kind of things. But it will not solve the problem. Unless we, on our own part, we are ready really to solve the problem. It's unfortunate.
Really quite unfortunate. Especially when...
attack.
Roaming, a resident is even saying that this group of bandits have been roaming freely without being challenged by security forces.
Roaming freely.
Roaming, without the challenge of...
Don't you wait now. You are even talking about roaming freely. Don't even come out to negotiate, have meetings.
Right, of course.
You see them on Okada, en masse, they move freely. And if you know the distance of this movement from one community to another community, because if you stay in the north, for you to from one community to another community, sometimes it takes hours, even on bike. I remember when I served in Taraba State, from where I was serving in Donga, there used to be another local government called Krumi. In the same southern Taraba, to ride on bike from Donga to Krumi used to take me about 2 hours by Taraba State. They will tell you that from Jalingo, the capital city, to a place like Mambila, Tʀᴇ, it's about 8 hours drive in the same state. So imagine riding on a bike, and this is the way.
That's the reports we're getting. Even with the directive of the manhunt. Let's see how we go. Right, the Guardian newspaper is capturing that the tax reform is risk sluggish and uncertain execution timelines over TADI NS Service FRS to the NRS, that's the Nigeria Revenue Service, reflecting its broader coverage as the sole national revenue collection agency, that effective implementation of the new tax architecture maybe from the Guardian, that there seems to be a disconnect among the NRS and the agencies relevant to port operations, that's the Nigerian Customs Service, NCS, the Nigerian Port Authority, NPA, and the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA. That the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, NUPRC, has ceased collecting royalties, following the signing of the new tax act, and handed over the responsibilities to the NRS legacy agency, that's the FIRS. But revenue as the NSW rollout in March, suggesting that the revenue collection harmonization enforcement timeline is dependent on the long-awaited platform. And so the National Single Window, which was definitely first initiated by the then Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of Economy, that's Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, to roll out, and also setting the quarter as the takeoff date, means that the full rollout was scheduled for this quarter. And as of mentioning this, there was no definite date for its takeoff. But a port official had actually hinted at a lack of interagency coordination, right? That even as there are claims that timelines are yet to be communicated to the relevant personnel for driving seamless transition. And on his part, he said that the national spokesperson of the NCS, Dr. Abdullahi Maiwada, said that the government would set up an implementation committee or interministerial implementation committee on how the revenue collection process will be implemented, right? That the NSC is working closely with the NRS to ensure that the NSW operationalization this quarter of 2026 is realized, and that all customs processes for clearing goods would be integrated into the platform. But he's saying that the NRS could explain how the NSW would be integrated into its revenue collection authority. Ikechukwu had said that the implementation of the new revenue collection framework was not an immediate action. That's when all agencies begin implementing.
It's not a problem. Again, you respect that these kinds of transition are going to be faced with bureaucratic bottlenecks, a lot of hurdles when it comes to alignment and integration. This delay. We are talking about revenue collection now.
Yes.
It's not about revenue sharing. If it's about sharing revenue, there won't be delay. Everybody will stay alive. They will do what they need to do. But what they need to do to get their own share, they will quickly do it. But again, there are people who are used to, collecting these revenues, and to respect that. Look, this is something completely new. It's a new law. Implementation will have some of these setbacks here and there. But this is a government that is determined to ensure this thing is implemented, transition, and coordination, so that it becomes effective. So these are just administrative issues.
Right.
They're going to sort it out eventually. It's not something that we have to waste our time on for too long. These things will be sorted out. The right things will be done. Correspondences will be shared amongst agencies. It takes like another 6 months, or even up to a year, for proper, steady implementation of the law, especially when it comes to the issue of revenue collection amongst agencies and parastatals. But at the end of the day, as a Nigerian, we are still waiting to see what the National Assembly will say about alterations or no alterations in the law itself. I've been seeing a manner of things flying around, people pretending that there were no alterations. It's simply a rest to tell us whether there are alterations or not. At the end of the day, they move. My advice to Nigerians: go and take care of yourself.
I think we'll just keep emphasizing on that.
For anybody that wants to hear.
Anyway, all right, that's also in our daily stuff this morning. Let's quickly go into the political space, right? Especially in Rivers State, which the political crisis there seems to now escalate, as we're seeing top APC governors backing Fubara and Wike blowing hot here and there. Even the APC scribe also firing back. A lot of drama erupting. Even re-election bid of his successor, that's Siminalayi Fubara, which definitely had appeared to suffer a setback, as we are having several All Progressives Congress governors rallying behind the embattled governor, that's Fubara. And multiple sources in the APC had confirmed yesterday that the renewed hostilities between Wike and Fubara were ignited by some top APC governors' decision to back Fubara's second-term bid, which is a development the FCT minister found, galling and is bitterly opposed to, and that maybe probably you stay away from Rivers, or you even resign and then you face Rivers politics. Well, because even the APC National Secretary had fired back, saying that he should resign. According to the Vanguard, also reporting that the FCT minister warning the National Secretary of the All Progressives Congress APC, Ajibola Bashiru, to stay away from the internal politics of Rivers State, accusing him of only being interested in the state resources. And of course, definitely with a swift reaction, Bashiru, cautioned Wike against what he described as an attempt to destabilize the party. What's your own? You're in the PDP, you are dictating for us, the APC. I don't understand. How does that work? But I have a soundbite on what Wike had said. Maybe when we hear from him, will give us more way to analyze this issue. Side fact is in your hands, because River State. I don't know what it is.
You want to play soundbite or just go ahead?
Let me try and get the. You can go ahead.
Let's just go ahead. You see, this is the reality. Because for every day you watch your TV now, there's a wicked thing going on. It's a live event. And so what you have is the FCT minister abandoning his job as FCT minister and basically just staying in River State to play politics. He has said it, that 2026 politics will start fully. And if you look at the politics he's talking about, it's the politics of River State. Because what you have is that all through, I think, the Christmas, New Year holidays now, he's been touring one local government to another in River State. So as it stands, the Abuja does not have a city minister in reality. Because the man is busy with the local politics of River State. And so every time he talks, nobody should come to River State. Nobody. In fact, at some point you begin to ask yourself, have they sold River State to Wiki? Come on, what it happened that we don't know. Maybe somewhere, somehow, the people of River State sold the state to him and collected money. Because he has lent anybody. That's the Wiki for you. He has to determine. In fact, it is so funny that he wants to determine what happens in PDP rivers and what happens in APC rivers. But you know what? I had this same conversation yesterday with a friend who is an APC member. You know, very influential to at his own level within the APC youth movement. And I told him, I said, you know what? My mind tells me that Wike is about to learn a very bitter lesson. Learn a very bitter political lesson. For the president to emerge as president, who eventually abandoned. And I gave you an example that I could not contest. Rufai and I think some other northern governors were the people that held it down when Buhari was always going to, renege on his promise that power was going to return to the south. They were the ones that now. So if they didn't do that, it would have been very difficult for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to emerge. Rufai was one of who that stepped it all against his own people, what you can call the northern political element, to ensure that the APC team came to this Tinubu went to Kaduna State and was begging Rufai, like, you know what, promise me that you will not leave this country. You will work with me. You must come and make the promise. You cannot go. You are so important to the party and to me and this government, and I'm begging you to come and pledge that you will not leave this country. Today, the same Rufai has been sacrificed for the governor of Kaduna State, Ubasanjo, as the he has now joined the APC. And now that he's a governor of the APC, he now has the protection of the APC leadership and the party against a Wike. No matter what you think the Wike is doing today, as at this morning, he's still not a member of the APC. That was why Ajibola Bashiru told him now that, why are you even a member of our party? Why are you so why all these folks not seen and overnetting into the activities of our party? And if you look at Wike, he's able to open his mouth.
Right.
With the move.
Right. Of course. We know the antecedents of when we have the party position
the comes in, it becomes
in the state.
The idea of, in Lagos, is the governor the leader of the party. What Wike is trying to do is to equate himself with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Not knowing that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu holds a special position in the APC. He needs to now begin to think that he can equate himself in terms of substance and influence within the APC to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu means he doesn't even understand the game. The other one is that, look, there are power brokers in the APC today who already see Wike as becoming too overbearing. You know that it was Uzodinma, the governor of Imo State, that took Fubara to Tinubu when he was going to defend to the APC.
Right.
Ordinarily, if Wike had a handle on the matter, Uzodinma in the APC. Do you know that the same Wike has been supporting Anyanwu, the PDP secretary, silently to take over as governor in Imo State, which Uzodinma sees as an affront. And that's why this report is telling you that there are governors in the APC now who want to cut Wike to side. That's why you see him shouting, nobody should come to my state. Nobody. I can take up anybody. I say, Benny, the only reason why Wike is still this powerful politically. In fact, if not for the intervention of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Fubara was already taken into the cleaners. We knew. Whatever President Bola Ahmed Tinubu did, the suspension and all of that, was to save the political career of his own Wike, which he knows. So again, we are discussing politics here now because it's purely political. And if you don't have the leadership of the APC already telling it, okay, mind yourself. You already have some governors in the APC who are already telling it, mind yourself. And I told people, the idea of giving 001 to Fubara by the APC leader is a statement-making decision. And that's why I see that today, you look, do you think Wike is, look, the man is unsettled. He is unsettled. The movement around the local government is to go and assure himself again. Is the structure still intact? But if you know what politicians are, you will know that, look, if they dance with you, laugh with you, sing with you, it does not take 1 minute for them to change tune. Once the signal changes, everything changes automatically. But again, we are watching. You know, we have just analyzed politically. We don't know what will eventually happen because we are not God. But my mind, though, in my own view and analysis of the situation, this man is about to learn a bitter political lesson. A very bitter political lesson.
Well, because actually there are two sides to it. Why some are saying that you know that
for his party members who say he would never discard Wike, and I told them, did El-Rufai help the president or not in becoming president?
Arguing that maybe
to the point that today the president now and the party. So when they say this, I just look at them. That's why you can see that even Shettima in his recent statement was silently telling Wike, and he said, look, I'm the vice president too. At the national level, I have big influence. But when it comes to Borno State, Professor Zulum is the leader of the party. Is that not a subtle jab at Wike? Now that this guy is part of us, because you don't know how many of the initiative better.
It was in PDP. You were totally controlling. Now is that you want to keep. Okay. Well, let's see.
That Gaton politics is playing. You know, it's not Gaton politics. You are here, you are there.
You want to eat your cake and have it.
Let's see.
Anyway, let's see. Definitely, I'm quite interested. Actually, I'm really quite interested in the outcome of
this. And Coke. It's a long drama. It's a series, so not a one time.
Wike, God, I bet Wike can be very dramatic. Anyway, just quickly, still trends in the papers on Milan 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. The former world heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua is now seriously considering retirement from boxing, according to his uncle, Adedamola Joshua. You know, that's according to his uncle anyway. That's because trust me, you're outside your mental state, outside.
And that kind of situation may just get to the point where it begins to. I'm not surprised that his uncle is saying that he may be quitting boxing again. You know, he's had a downward slope with his career. He's not really been at the pinnacle of his career out there. You know, the guy, the YouTuber that he beat recently,
right?
Not been at the top of his game. And now that this has happened, I don't know that whether he will be psychologically fit to get back to the pinnacle of his career. So if he quits boxing today, it won't be a surprise to some of us who understand that these things go beyond the physical. The mental and psychological part of the game is also very important. So we wish him well.
Right, definitely. And quick recovery from the trauma. Because it's really not easy. After the United States, capturing by force on January 3, the president of Venezuela and facing trial in the court in the United States, the Venezuelan president, Nicolas Maduro is coming as we're even getting protesters protesting both sides. Those some celebrating and some opposing his capture, outside the federal courthouse in New York yesterday. The protesters were actually split, with one side flying flags and placards backing U.S. President Donald Trump, while the other were, called Maduro's release. Those supporting Maduro's release, had argued against the U.S. intervention, while those on the other side had expressed hope for Venezuela's future without Maduro at the helm. A lot of conversations actually about this very issue, and in extension about international laws and all of this. But that's the report we're getting from the Punch this morning.
We'll follow the case and know what comes out of it. He pleaded not guilty to the charges. drugs peddling, guns running, all manner of charges against him and his wife. So he appeared in the federal court in New York, and trial continues. So we'll see what comes out of that trial.
Right. And just to round off, the Guardian capturing that the courts denying Bauchi Commissioner and 3 others bail. That's according to Justice Emeka White of the Federal High Court yesterday, and money laundering. Right, that's the report from the Guardian. Saidfa, thank you very much for your time this morning. I will come back for Mainland Focus.
Thank you for having me.
And of course, okay, I saw someone saying that, Mr. Fua, what are we going to use to take care of ourselves? He said, because you have been emphasizing that you take care of ourselves. So the person is asking.
Take care of yourself now. Look at yourself and use what you have to take care of yourself.
Take care of yourself. All right. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. We're back for Mainland Focus. Good morning.